guess they don't all travel in flight.
What if your phone was no longer a device, but a death sentence? A mysterious signal has just hijacked every cell network on the planet, turning anyone who answers into a savage, mindless killer in a matter of seconds. As governments collapse and the streets turn into a global slaughterhouse, the world realizes this isn't a random outbreak, it's a synchronized frequency. The human race is being rewritten into a terrifying hive mind, and the next pulse is about to broadcast the end of humanity. Cartoonist Clay stands in Boston International Airport trying to reach his family on a payphone because his cell battery died. He abandoned his wife and son years ago chasing his artistic dreams, and now he wants to reconnect. Around him, travelers crowd every power outlet charging their devices, while others walk past glued to their screens. Clay finally gets through to his ex-wife, telling her he's come to make things right, when suddenly chaos erupts throughout the terminal. People holding phones against their ears start convulsing violently while a horrible screeching sound pours from their devices. Within seconds, they're foaming at the mouth with blood leaking from their eyes. A businessman drops his briefcase and tackles a young woman, ripping into her throat with his teeth. A teenager with headphones tears her own face open, clawing at the skin while screaming. Clay watches in horror as a security guard shoots a zombie attacking a child, then more infected swarm from every direction. A restaurant cook grabs his knife and starts stabbing customers randomly, while a desperate woman steals a phone to call 911 only to transform the moment she answers. Clay uses his art portfolio as a shield, blocking attacks from a crazed flight attendant who tries biting through the leather. He kicks her away and starts running toward the exits as two planes collide in midair outside the terminal windows. The massive explosion rocks the entire building, sending glass and burning debris everywhere. Clay dives behind rows of seats as flaming wreckage crashes through the roof, killing dozens of travelers instantly. He scrambles toward an escalator heading down to the subway level when two zombies jump from the second floor, landing directly in front of him. Clay trips backward and falls into a pile of infected bodies that immediately grab at his legs, trying to pull him down into their mess. A transit worker appears from nowhere wielding a metal pipe and almost kills Clay, thinking he's infected, when another survivor stops him, yelling that Clay's eyes are still normal and clear. Both men drag Clay into a stopped subway train where a handful of other survivors hide, terrified and shaking. Clay warns them urgently about the phones, saying only people who answered calls or wore headphones transformed into those creatures. Train conductor Tom explains grimly that the power grid is completely out and they'll have to walk through the dark tunnels to escape the station. Most survivors refuse to leave the relative safety of the train car, so only Clay, Tom, and a frightened passenger named Mike brave the pitch-black darkness ahead. They walk cautiously for 20 minutes using phone flashlights until seeing dim light ahead, when a zombie suddenly bursts from the shadows and tears Mike's throat out in one savage bite before anyone can react. Clay grabs a metal rod from the ground and beats the creature's head down repeatedly, but the noise attracts dozens more infected waiting near the tunnel exit. Suddenly, the zombies charge toward them, screeching that horrible signal sound. Tom spots stairs leading up to a manhole, and both men climb desperately fast, kicking at zombies trying to follow them up the ladder. They emerge onto a destroyed city street and immediately slam the manhole shut, then block it with a nearby dumpster. The entire city is burning, with car alarms blaring constantly and distant screams echoing from every direction. Clay leads Tom to his apartment building several blocks away, finding the front door completely destroyed and neighbors lying dead throughout the hallways. Inside Clay's apartment, Tom notices disturbing artwork covering every wall depicting violent apocalyptic scenes with creatures eating humans. Clay tries the landline phone but gets only harsh static, so Tom reluctantly lends his cell phone. The call to Clay's family comes back scrambled and distorted with strange clicking sounds underneath. Tom tells him to put the phone in the freezer immediately to preserve the battery, explaining they might desperately need it later for emergencies or final calls. That evening, they hear sudden pounding on the apartment door and open it carefully, finding Alice, their upstairs neighbor, covered in blood, holding a kitchen knife with shaking hands. She's crying and trembling violently, but her eyes are clear, proving she's still human. Alice begs them frantically to close all the blinds, saying the infected stand outside watching windows for any movement or signs of life. She explains through sobbing tears that her mother transformed right in front of her and attacked viciously, so she had absolutely no choice but to fight back and kill her. Clay gives her clean clothes and lets her shower while Tom searches the apartment for any useful supplies or weapons. Clay announces his desperate plan to travel north to New Hampshire, hoping to find his son, who never makes voice calls, only texts, meaning he might still be uninfected and alive. Both Tom and Alice immediately volunteer to join him on the dangerous journey, despite knowing they might not survive. While Alice sleeps exhausted, Tom suggests quietly this was probably a coordinated terrorist attack using phone networks as weapons to destroy society. Their conversation stops abruptly when Tom's phone suddenly rings loudly from inside the freezer, making them both freeze. They stare at it terrified, wondering who could possibly be calling and how anyone even has this number now. After several rings, they cancel the call quickly and leave the phone frozen solid. Morning comes and they carefully look outside, seeing hundreds of infected wandering the streets, moving in perfectly synchronized patterns like flocking birds. Alice points out nervously how they never bump into each other or hesitate, suggesting some kind of shared awareness or hive mind controlling their movements. This observation terrifies everyone because it means the infected aren't just mindless zombies but something far more organized and intelligent. The trio arms themselves with kitchen knives and a wooden baseball bat before leaving the apartment building. They see a large group of zombies gathered nearby, but suddenly a couple speeds past on a loud motorcycle, drawing the entire horde away. Clay, Tom, and Alice use this distraction to escape unnoticed, entering the quiet suburbs where they find a house with multiple gun owner warning signs posted everywhere outside. They break in through a side window and start searching for weapons, discovering a basement absolutely full of dead bodies stacked in corners. While loading pistols and rifles, Alice spots a young boy sitting on a swing in the backyard, peacefully petting a small dog. She approaches him slowly, calling out softly, but when he turns around, his face is twisted and completely wrong, revealing he's infected. Tom shoots the boy instantly in the head, and suddenly dozens of zombies burst from the surrounding woods, charging at terrifying full speed. The trio opens fire, desperately dropping several infected, but more keep coming in waves, so they abandon the house and run into the dense forest. Zombies crash violently into trees and trip over roots, but even with broken legs and twisted ankles, they continue crawling forward relentlessly. The group reaches a lake and hides under an overturned boat, holding their breath, listening to footsteps above. When the infected arrive at the water's edge, they suddenly stop moving completely and stare at the setting sun in silence. All the zombies simultaneously open their mouths, emitting that horrible signal-like screech in perfect unison before simply walking away like robots, shutting down for the night. Tom realizes the infected operate on a strict schedule, stopping all activity exactly at sunset. He also figures out they definitely share a hive mind because that boy in the backyard somehow alerted every single zombie in the entire area to their location instantly. This means they're not fighting individual zombies but one massive collective intelligence that learns and adapts. The trio travels carefully through the night, and at dawn they hear faint music coming from an academy building in the distance. Inside they meet young student Jordan and elderly headmaster Charles, who explain the infected sleep during darkness in organized groups. Charles takes them to the sports field, showing hundreds of zombies lying completely motionless in neat rows while phone signal sounds continuously pour from their open mouths. He stabs one directly in the leg, and it doesn't even twitch, proving they're totally vulnerable during sleep. Charles suggests burning them all while they sleep, so the group fills a maintenance truck with gasoline and drives slowly over the field of bodies, spraying fuel everywhere, covering them completely. Charles lights a flaming arrow and fires it into the gasoline-soaked ground, creating a massive inferno that spreads rapidly. Horrible screams fill the air as some infected wake and start burning alive, trying to run. The fire follows a gas trail back to the truck, causing it to explode violently, killing Charles instantly in the blast. Young Jordan breaks down, sobbing uncontrollably, and the group decides to leave, immediately sensing intense rage emanating from the burning corpses. They find an abandoned drive-in theater to rest during daylight hours, and while sleeping, Clay has a disturbing nightmare about a raggedy homeless man violently assaulting his ex-wife. When he wakes up gasping, the others reveal they all dreamed about the exact same man, which terrifies everyone because Raggedy Man is a character from Clay's unfinished comic book. Somehow the hive mind is pulling specific images from Clay's subconscious and planting them in other survivors' dreams. That night, they discover a roadside bar with graffiti saying Cashwhack Nofo. Inside, they meet exhausted travelers heading to Cashwhack State Park in Maine, claiming it has no cell service, making it a permanent safe zone from the signal. While everyone sleeps, a survivor named Sally wakes to strange noises and puts her ear against the door, listening to signal-like screeching from outside in the darkness. Clay wakes seeing Sally standing completely motionless when suddenly other survivors behind him transform and attack savagely. Somehow the signal can transmit directly through zombies, making ear contact with them, just as deadly as answering a phone. Sally screeches directly into the bartender's ear, converting him instantly. Then he attacks Clay, who shoots him in self-defense. Tom fires at other infected while Alice saves him from behind, only to get hit hard by Sally with a baseball bat. Tom shoots Sally dead, and they rush outside carrying Alice, who's bleeding heavily from her head. She asks weakly to see the sunrise one last time before dying peacefully in their arms. After burying Alice in a shallow grave, the remaining trio continues toward Cashwhack, meeting survivors Ray and Denise, who claim to be experienced zombie killers. They explain Cashwhack isn't actually a no-phone zone anymore because a casino built a cell tower there last year. Ray and Denise also dream about Raggedy Man every night and believe killing him will destroy the entire hive mind. They've captured Denise's infected brother, using him as an early warning system because he reacts violently when other zombies approach their location. The brother suddenly starts moving and speaking in Clay's son's voice, saying, "Are you coming home?" repeatedly. When Clay removes the hood, the zombie says, "Hi, Dad," perfectly mimicking the boy's voice. Tom shoots the infected brother in the head before he can transmit their exact location to the hive. They escape quickly in Ray's ice cream truck, but after hours of driving, Ray admits he's seen Raggedy Man everywhere he looks. Believing he's losing his mind, Ray gives Clay a slip of paper with a phone number and an explosive detonator. He tells Clay to use it when the time comes, then walks into the forest and blows himself up. The group reaches Clay's house, where he finds a note from his son explaining his mother transformed, so he went to Cusack with other survivors. Frustrated, Clay kicks furniture violently, then opens the attic door where a zombie attacks him immediately. Tom helps fight it off and they beat the creature to death together. When the hood falls, Clay discovers this isn't Raggedy Man but his ex-wife, transformed and barely recognizable. Devastated, he checks Ray's phone and realizes it's programmed to detonate explosives hidden in the truck. Clay announces he's going to Cusack alone to find his son, while Tom, Denise, and Jordan should escape to Canada immediately. He gives Jordan spray paint, asking him to mark their route every few miles so they can reunite later. After emotional goodbye hugs, Clay drives the explosive-filled truck toward the cell tower. He passes desperate survivors begging for help, but doesn't stop knowing what he has to do. When he arrives at Cusack, thousands of infected march in perfect circles around the tower at the center. Clay drives through them, and they ignore him completely, allowing him to reach the middle where Raggedy Man stands conducting the horde. Clay accelerates and rams him with the truck, then jumps out shooting until his gun is empty. Suddenly, he hears his son's voice calling him home, and Clay frantically searches the crowd of infected for the boy. He beats down zombies trying to find his son, but there are too many and he nearly gets trampled. Crawling back to the truck's center, Clay pulls out the detonator ready to activate it when his son walks out of the crowd staring blankly. Clay embraces him desperately, but the boy doesn't react or recognize him at all. All the zombies, including Raggedy Man, open their mouths, making that signal screech in perfect unison. The boy joins them and Clay hugs his infected son one final time before pressing the detonator. A massive explosion destroys the cell tower and everything around it. The final scene shows Clay and his son walking together following Jordan's graffiti toward Canada, but this is revealed to be a hallucination. In reality, Clay is just another zombie in the horde marching mindlessly around the destroyed tower's remains. If you're still watching, this means you survived the full story. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you can watch more videos like this. Thanks for watching.